Not all manipulation is loud. Some of it is covered in sarcasm, backhanded compliments, and conversations that just leave you second guessing yourself. If you've ever felt like you've needed to monitor someone's mood just to avoid setting them off, I promise you're not crazy. That's just manipulation. This is the Rich Perspective, and welcome back to my channel. This is part 3 of the manipulation series. We're here to break down manipulation tactics that people commonly use to control you. Today we're going to talk about passive aggressive communication. We're going to talk about playing on insecurities and changing the subject to avoid accountability. So let's get straight into it. Quick disclaimer before we go into it properly though, is to recognize that not all manipulators recognize within themselves that they're manipulating. A lot of this behavior is learned. Maybe they grew up with parents or were in relationships where this was the norm. Maybe the insecurities that they have fuel their need for control. But here's the thing, just because someone doesn't recognize their manipulation tactics doesn't mean that you have to put up with it. After this video, there are no excuses. Whether you recognize the behaviors in someone else or in yourself, accountability is the only way forward. So we'll start with the first one, which is passive aggressive communication. Passive aggressive communication is when someone wants to put you down, criticize you, or control you, but they don't want to take responsibility for it. So instead of being direct, they hide it in sarcasm, backhanded compliments, or vague statements that leave you second guessing yourself. So as an example, imagine this: you get a promotion at work, you're excited about it, and you want to share it with your co-workers. And as you're sharing it with all of your co-workers, there's that one person that you work with, and they fix their mouth to say, oh, it must be nice to get special treatment. Some of us have to work for our promotions. At first, it may catch you off guard. Let's say they might be the joker of the group, for example. So it catches you off guard and you question yourself, are they being resentful? No, you hesitate. You're unsure whether to call it out. But odds are, if you do call them out, you probably receive a response like this: relax, I was just joking. You're so sensitive. This is the kind of passive aggressive comment that I'm talking about that leaves you second guessing yourself. The moment you react, they flip the script on you to get you to seem like you're the unreasonable one. So whenever this happens, how you handle this situation is by addressing them directly. So an example could be, if you have something to say, just say it directly. Or even being even more direct by saying, I don't do passive aggressiveness. If there's an issue, let's talk about it. The thing is, it can make you seem like the bad person for calling it out, but essentially, let's not beat around the bush here, and let's get directly to it. Is there a problem or is there no problem? By calling it out and refusing to play their game, you take away their power. All right then, so the second one is playing on insecurities. So manipulators, they love to pick out weak spots in people, their flaws. If they know that you're insecure about something, they will pick it out to use against you. But it might not be in quite an obvious way, but in a way that's designed to make you feel ashamed, unworthy, or inadequate about yourself. This could also run deep. So think of it like, let's say there was a trait in one of your parents growing up that you didn't like. They may have been too aggressive, or they may have been selfish, or too emotional, or not emotional enough. Whatever it was that you noted in your parents, you swore to yourself that you would never be like that. Now then, imagine a manipulator accusing you of that exact same thing that you swore to never be like. Suddenly you're put in a position where you're desperate to prove them wrong. They've triggered a wound within yourself that you weren't even aware that you're carrying. So when playing on insecurities happen, it could sound like this: well, you're acting just like your dad right now. Or, I can't believe you're this emotional. It's really embarrassing. Or even like, you always do this. No wonder people can't take you seriously. They wanted to discuss steps to take when this happens. And essentially, what you need to do is, first thing is self-awareness. Always recognize that this is happening. The best way to do this is to know what your flaws are. Know what your flaws are, know what your strengths are, know where your insecurities lie. That way they can't be weaponized against you. They want you to react emotionally so that they can control the narrative. So work on knowing yourself. And then once you have that, so first step is knowing yourself. Second step is setting those boundaries. So you can respond with, that's an interesting way to deflect from the real issue. Or, I'm not engaging with personal attacks. Let's stick to the real issue. The goal is to make you doubt yourself. And the best weapon in your arsenal is to refuse to play the game. The last one, guys, is changing the subject to avoid accountability. Don't get me wrong, changing subjects in conversation is natural. Me and my friends, when we're discussing things, we bounce from topic to topic, subtopic. And that's just a natural way of conversations. But the key difference between that and a manipulator is that they change subject to avoid accountability. They'll shift the focus whenever you make a valid point, you receive praise from someone else, or when you call them out. So this can look like you bring up a real issue, they bring up something that you did months ago. You express how you feel, they flip it and say you're the one that's actually causing problems. You receive a compliment from someone else, they immediately interrupt and downplay that compliment that you've just received. The goal is for you to keep doubting yourself. They don't want you to believe that you're in the right. They don't want you to feel seen by other people. They want to control how you see yourself. The best way to respond is do not follow them down that rabbit hole. If they change the subject, bring it right back. You could respond with, for example, this is not what we're even talking about. Let's stay on track. By keeping the focus on the real issue, you stop them from gaining control in the conversation and manipulating it. The three manipulation tactics that we've just been through, they all carry the same purpose, which is to keep you unbalanced, uncertain, and easier to control. But here's a very important thing to consider. Manipulation only works if you doubt yourself. That's why the best way to protect yourself is to trust your instincts. When your gut is firing off that there's a red flag occurring, listen to it. Don't ignore it when you're constantly in a situation where you feel like you're doubting yourself, questioning yourself. Recognize it for what it is. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If this video gets 20 likes, I'll drop a part 4 where we break down even more manipulation tactics. Guys, drop us a comment. Have you ever dealt with any of the manipulation tactics that I've mentioned in this video? And how did you deal with it? But like always, please like, share, and subscribe, and protect your peace. I'll see you in the next video.